From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on The Debate. Arnab Goswami on The Debate.
Welcome. Time now for the nation's sharpest opinion. We have an extraordinary situation, ladies and gentlemen, in this country. A grave situation where a person holding a constitutional position says he's going to fight a war against the Indian state, which means the Indian nation. And that person is none other than Rahul Gandhi, who as leader of the opposition says his fight is no longer against a political party, his fight is against the Indian state, against the nation, against therefore the republic. By saying so, in my view, Rahul Gandhi has disqualified himself from holding any high office. We must not take this casually. We must not think it's a typical Rahul Gandhi remark. Oh, he doesn't know. Oh, he'll be okay next time. There is no next time, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a casual situation. This is not just about Rahul Gandhi meeting an anti-national, anti-India Ilhan Omar. This is not just about Rahul Gandhi meeting Donald Lu of the US State Department's regime change operations. This is not just about Rahul Gandhi signing a secret, unknown agreement under the gaze of Xi Jinping. This is not just about Rahul Gandhi lunching with the Chinese during Doklam. This is not just about Rahul Gandhi giving moral and political support to the Tukre gang. This is not just about Rahul Gandhi saying he does not believe that India is a nation. It is no longer about his weird beliefs. It is about his intent. And he has declared his intent. He says he is going to wage a war against our country. He is going to wage a war and fight a battle against the Indian state. And therefore, by saying so, ladies and gentlemen, and I have a terrific panel lined up for you tonight. By saying so, Rahul Gandhi has said that he is going to fight a war against the Indian government, against the Lok Sabha, against the Rajya Sabha, against the legislative and executive organs of the Indian government. He is going to fight all statutory and non-statutory authorities. He is going to wage a war against the Indian Armed Forces, who he has spoken against. He is going to wage a war against the Honorable President of India, the Commander-in-Chief of our forces, and he's also going to wage a war against our institutions and our judiciary, who he has also attacked in the past. 32 sitting Supreme Court judges, 25 high courts, and 1,100 high court judges. Ladies and gentlemen, the man is a danger to the country. Now, we got to choose. We got to choose. I know many people will say, oh, forget it, he's a non-serious person. But the non-serious person is holding a very serious office. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we have to choose. Either you're with the nation or you're with Rahul Gandhi. Let's debate.
We are fighting a fair fight. We are now fighting the BJP, the RSS, and the Indian state itself.
It's an open declaration of war against the nation by Congress leader Rahul Gandhi.
That do not think that we are fighting a fair fight. There is no fairness in this. If you believe that we are fighting a political organization called the BJP, that we are fighting a political organization called the RSS, you have not understood what is going on. The BJP and the RSS have captured every single institution of our country. We are now fighting the BJP, the RSS, and the Indian state itself.
On Indian soil, Rahul has towed an open Maoist line.
You have not understood what is going on. The BJP and the RSS have captured every single institution of our country. We are now fighting the BJP, the RSS, and the Indian state itself.
This, however, is not the first time. On foreign soil, he peddled the anti-India narrative.
India is not described as a nation. In our constitution, the line is India, that is Bharat, is a union of states. We will think of scrapping reservations when India is a fair place. And India is not a fair place.
Rahul Gandhi, with his statement, has added himself in the list of people who are fighting against the Indian state. Be it the ISI, the Pak-backed terrorist, Khalistani sympathizer Amritpal Singh, or even George Soros. BJP is calling this an urban Naxal mindset.
It is our misfortune that we have a part-time and irresponsible, immature leader of opposition in Rahul Gandhi, who also happens to be guided by forces like George Soros.
How can he fight the Indian state? Well, I don't know what this is. Either it's a temporary loss of, derailment of the mental coordinates, or it's the Soros toolkit.
Rahul has openly declared his intentions.
And Harish Salve is with us tonight. He needs no introduction. Mr. Salve is one of India's foremost jurists, senior advocate, former Solicitor General, King's Counsel, and much more. Mr. Salve, question is obvious. He said, I'm fighting the Indian state. Congress is trying to say, no, you got him wrong again. What's your take?
He's been fighting the Indian state for a while. He's only said it in so many words. What, according to me, as a student of Indian constitutional law, is fighting the Indian state? The Indian constitution is based on the rule of law. I don't think anybody has ever accused the Gandhi family of being great fans of the rule of law. If they were, the emergency wouldn't have happened. But let's put that to one side. The declaration that India is a diverse society and its resources must be distributed in accord on caste lines or on lines of people's poverty or some other such distinguishing factor, which basically means take the money from those who create wealth and distribute it to those who do not have wealth. Now, how do you do that consistent with the rule of law? So you don't do it. How are you going to do it? You are fighting against the nation. You are fighting against the notion of statehood. If our state is a democratic, sovereign republic based on the rule of law, you can't have this kind of narrative going on. The second narrative, caste census. The third narrative, you carry a book of constitutional law in your hand and talk of increasing reservations when the Supreme Court's definition of fairness under Article 14 and 15 on balance has been reservations must be contained within 15%. Now, what you're saying is, I don't care what the constitutional authority who has the last word on constitutional interpretation says.
Yes.
I say this is not fair. And if the Supreme Court says this is not fair, I don't care. I'm protecting the Constitution as I read it, not as the Supreme Court interprets it, which means you're above the law, you're above the institutions. So this has been going on for a while. And it's consistent behavior. When somebody says India is not a nation, it's a union of states, I would say it betrays ignorance of basic principles of political constitutionalism. So you have somebody who's obviously either he's being advised or he's being tutored or whatever. You know, that's a political discussion which you will have the moment I leave space. But as a citizen of India and as a student of constitutional law, we have this serious threat, and we have this sitting in our parliament. But I think our constitution is so robust, and our institutions by now have become so robust. His fighting the Indian state is going to be a battle which he will sooner than later regret.
Ladies and gentlemen, with us tonight live is Harish Salve, and the subject of discussion tonight is the alarming comment of Rahul Gandhi, where he has declared a war against the nation by saying that he is out to fight the Indian state. In other words, he's saying the Congress party should be fighting the Indian state. This is not a critique of the government. Now, Mr. Salve, my second and last question to you is this, that their defense is that, look here, we are not bothered about whether this aligns with separatist narratives. We believe that the Indian state is oppressive. And it's oppressive, so it's illegitimate. Right? It's illegitimate in our eyes, our beliefs, and hence we reject it, and hence we are going to fight it. Your response to that defense they are putting out tonight?
Yes. So I heard just now, a moment ago, I hadn't heard it before, the clip which you played.
Yes.
And his point is that the BJP has captured, it's a strong word to use, but let's go with his word, captured all institutions. How have they done it? They have not done it by a constitutional coup. They have not done it by a coup against the constitution. They fought the elections. They won fair and square in 2014. They won in 2019. And they're back in power in 2014. His attempts at trying to get into power have failed. If BJP has control over the institutions, as he suggests, I'm putting to one side the validity of this assertion.
Yes.
But if it does, it has this control because it is the elected government in office. Now, if his attempts to get elected are failing, he says, I will have to fight the system from outside by dismantling a system by which BJP is getting elected, which means you do not believe in electoral democracy. Now, whether you bring in the Bangladesh model or you sit with people who are willing, or you invite others to interfere and say, you must do something, please help me, because elections I have not been able to win. You have to get these chaps out of office and make space so that somebody else can come in. That means you're basically saying, I don't like the Indian voter, I don't believe the Indian voter. I know the interest of the Indian voter better than the Indian voter knows himself. And therefore I am at war with the Indian voter. He's voting the wrong people in, so I'm going to fight the state itself. So it's the right thing he has said. This is what he's been pursuing. And I think he has only put it in one sentence. He has been saying it, and his party has been standing for this for a while.
Harish Salve has put out an excellent analysis of this tonight. Mr. Salve, always such a pleasure to have you right on top of the show this evening. Harish Salve, thank you very, very much. And
Arnab, I don't like getting into political controversy.
I know you
But
don't.
I'll tell you, and I don't understand politics. But when things are said which make me worried about where Indian democracy is headed, on the one hand, India's going from strength to strength. And then when you have things like this, especially the bigger we grow, the more foes we have outside India. Believe me, countries like the United States, Canada, even Europe are not very happy at where we are.
No, not at all.
Our big brother neighbor, China on top of us, is not happy where we are.
I agree with you.
And they will be happy. Today, the most delighted at this narrative will be the guests with whom you were having a sharp discussion yesterday.
That's why I'm not putting you with them, but I just add to what you said. It's my own view, Mr. Salve, that as we go from 3, 4, 5, 10 trillion and 20 trillion, we will stop being a subject of interest to being a direct competitor. and all claws will be out, and Rahul Gandhi is becoming a useful tool for these people.
All claws are already out.
Already out.
Already out. And this is where we as Indians, if we are not sensitive to where our own, today, the guests whom you had yesterday, you know whom I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Whom you were discussing the ... They will be most happy at this narrative.
No, we're concerned.
So we have to be careful about this.
We're concerned. I'm going to take this clip of our chat, put it on digital media, put a vote on it. And if you want to respond to Harish Salve directly, I'll take your messages and send it across to him as soon as I can. Mr. Salve, thank you very much once again. Our question I'm putting out tonight before I go to my next guest, viewers, is this. Should Rahul Gandhi be disqualified as the leader of the opposition for taking an openly Maoist line? I'm not even saying pro-Maoist line. I'm saying he's taking a Maoist line. Should Rahul Gandhi be disqualified as LOP for taking an openly Maoist line? You heard Harish Salve there, Mahesh Jethmalani. How would you like to take this forward? Because Rahul Gandhi's defense is, see, I'm being forced to do this because institutions have been captured. And hence, I'm going against India because this is not the India I like.
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, echoing what Harish just said, what Mr. Salve just said, Rahul has always been of this view. I mean, all his actions are basically in the past. All this, and we've talked about it many times. The MOU with the CCCP, senior leaders of the Congress going and asking Pakistan to dislodge Prime Minister Modi's government. Being at one with George Soros, who's a sworn enemy of India and has tried many attempts to destabilize India. So this is a pattern. Right now, I think Rahul Gandhi said the gloves are off. The facade of being a Democrat, I am going to throw off. And what Harish says, I echo that sentiment as well. I have a feeling now that he is going to stoop to extremely treacherous levels. And that means he's going to take the help of powers, which he already has. I mean, he has already been mixed up with people who are inimical to India, whether it is the Chinese state, whether it is Pakistan, whether it is Soros, and the deep democratic state, which mercifully is about to exit in America. He's already done that. But now what he's saying is that I don't agree with India's democracy. In sum and substance, that's what he's saying. I don't like the manner in which democracy is working. The fact of the matter is he doesn't like this democracy and the manner in which it's working is because, with all its fairness, he's being routed at the polls. He's become an abject failure, and he feels he's entitled. He's a product of entitlement. He's a product of dynasty. You have to understand his mindset. And he's being goaded by courtiers and his mother. And to some extent, his sister. Those are the people closest, and they tell him he's born to rule. Now, the problem is not only is he going to join hands with forces inimical to India externally, but we don't know the methods which he will use. Because if you start questioning first the Election Commission, then the EVMs, right? It means you don't believe in the Democrat. What Shora and the other day, the Chief Election Commission according to me, gave a thoroughly researched, sterling analysis of the complete infallibility of the EVMs. He said that not a single booth have we found the EVMs going wrong at all, right? Now, when you start questioning this, you have a creeping mindset. Rahul is now shrugging off democratic means, questioning every institution. And by the way, I think it's time somebody filed an FIR against him, because he's now saying that the judiciary, for instance, is partisan.
Yeah.
It has now been infiltrated, courtesy the RSS and the BJP, with cronies of theirs. He's basically calling every Supreme Court judge a crony of the BJP RSS, and collectively the entire judiciary. That's the level to which he's gone. Now listen, I have been in the BJP since 1981, right? When it was first formed on the 6th of April of that year. I have tolerated undemocratic methods and what I consider to be, or what I've always considered to be, extremely oppressive methods by the Congress party. But I have never questioned our institutions. Once you start questioning your institutions, you have become anti-national. Because those institutions is what makes this great democracy thrive, whether it's the electoral system or our judiciary or our bureaucracy. He is now trashing all of those.
So I think he's justifying violence. I think he wants violence. Right now he's justifying it. He's creating that very well thought narrative for violence in the country.
I think he's out to set the country on fire.
And he said so in the past almost. He said so.
Yes, either by caste divisions or by religious divisions. He is going to do that.
But his foreign help from the Kamala Harris group has evaporated. They're out of power. Does that compromise his plans to spark violence?
Well, that certainly narrows his options. But there is still the whole Sino-Wahhabi lobby, the Sino, ISI and the CCCP and the PLA. There is still that. And Soros is still a rogue element. Trump has denounced him. The incoming president, Trump has denounced him.
Yeah.
But, he's going to be up to his mischief. He's not going to give up.
Okay.
94 years old though he is.
No, he's not going to give up. Well, we've had two excellent introductory voices, Harish Salve and Mahesh Jethmalani. Couldn't get better than that. Thank you very much. Gentlemen, the danger of Rahul Gandhi's Maoist line. 2 versus 4. Sohail and Sanju versus Ramesh Sabharwal and Santosh Mehrotra, Professor, and Vivek Srivastav and Renu Mittal. Opening remark to Ramesh Sabharwal, because I know you'll get excited during the debate, but I think he's undermined the country. He's become a separatist, he's become a Maoist, he's become anti-national, he wants international